The months before 40. There are seasons in life that begin so quietly. You do not realize you're already in one. There's no announcement, no big moment, no dramatic music playing in the background while you suddenly become a wiser, more evolved version of yourself. Most of the time, life just keeps happening. You wake up, make breakfast, get the kids ready, check your messages, open your laptop, work on assignment, remember something you forgot, get distracted, get back to it, forgot your coffee for the ninth time, and somehow months later you realize that something in you has changed. Looking back now, I think that was what June was for me. It was the beginning of a season I did not know I needed. The last time I wrote about this part of my life, I was talking about having three students under one roof. Onyara was beginning grade 3, Anyana was beginning nursery 1, and then there was me, their mommy, beginning something completely different from the life I had known for almost 2 decades. And now, fast forward to August 16, 2026. Wow! So I'm already at week 11 out of 13 weeks in teaching education units. So I only have one online class to go and then the last weekend for finals. Wow! But back then, fast forward to, you know, the start of June. So the first weekend of June was the first weekend of classes. I was going back to school. Three students, one house, one mommy trying to keep everything moving. At that time, I thought I was simply documenting what was happening in our family. I did not realize that I was also documenting the beginning of something in myself. June became July, and July slowly became August. The days were filled with schoolwork, family routines, assignments, exams, lesson plans, teaching demonstrations, little victories, frustrations, so many frustrations, and the ordinary chaos of being a mother while trying to become something new. And most of all, trying to do everything without a salary. And, I realized that you actually don't need so much to live. But I also realized that I need to find a job. Fast forward to now, August, I think I need to find a job before this year ends. But I'm praying a lot. I'm praying that the next chapter of my life would be a little bit better than the previous one. I'm not complaining though. I don't have complaints. I'm always just grateful with the life the Lord has given me. But, I'm also human. I want things to be, always better than the one I previously have. Okay? And, somewhere in between all of that, I start getting closer to 40. And you know what? Getting to 40, getting to a certain age, does not, scare me. Um, I've always loved my birthdays every year. So age is a blessing to me. Like I love aging. I love aging. I've written a lot about it. And 40 is like, oh my god, I am 40, and it just, feels a little bit different but same. So it doesn't feel not just closer in the calendar, of course. I'm already out of the calendar. So but closer to understanding what I wanted 40 to mean. When I wrote that, June felt like a season of preparation. I did not yet know how much preparation would actually happen in the months that followed. The preparation was not just about Onyara entering grade 3 or Aniana beginning nursery 1. It was not just about getting used to a new school schedule or figuring out where my own classes would fit into our family routine. It was also about preparing myself for a life that looked very different from the one I had imagined a few years earlier. 4 months before that June, I had resigned from the career I had spent 19 years building. That sentence still feels strange sometimes. 19 years, from 20 until 39, of course. 19 years is a long time to become someone. I started working when I was young, 20. I learned how to build a career, how to lead, how to manage responsibilities, how to solve problems, how to work with people, how to survive deadlines. So many deadlines. And I hate deadlines. The funny thing about working in the IT industry is that you have deadlines, right? But most of the time, especially when I was a programmer, I would always make sure that I do my task as soon as it's given to me and then finish it way before way before the deadline, because I hate deadlines. It makes me anxious. And even when I'm in my teacher education right now, I hate deadlines. So as soon as I got the assignment, I almost always do it after the class. And whenever I don't have classes, whenever my teachers are giving us extra time to like, we have 4 hours of class, right? And if we thankfully got 1 hour or 2 hours free for that day, I don't usually just leave and take that time to do something else. I usually just do my assignment and make a debrief of what I was learning. So I even have a time to study. Like Wednesdays are my study time, and little bit of routine every day to focus on what I want to do next in my education. And you know, that's discipline. That's self discipline to me, but I can't seem to translate that discipline into my health. And that is another story for another time. But yeah, moving on. I started working when I was young, right? I learned how to build a career, how to lead, and all these things. And my career became part of my identity. It gave me experiences, friendships, confidence, challenges, opportunities, and a version of myself that I was very proud of. Very proud of. Because I started from nothing, right? And my humble beginnings really fueled all the things that's within me. And I think yeah, so living it was not a small thing. It was not a small thing. I can still remember all those things that ache I ache so much. I just don't share it a lot, how I grieve for that version of myself who leaves. But um there I've written a lot about the reasons why I actually left, because even right now I'm still not healing from it. My psoriasis are still here, but there are days actually that I'm good. Yeah, there are good days. But when I was working that last month, especially December, that was crazy. And my psoriasis has been with me 2 years before, and it didn't go. So even, yeah, I'm still figuring out what will work. But yeah, you get a point, right? Living was not a small thing. But by June, I was beginning to understand that leaving one chapter does not mean erasing everything that happened in it. I carried those 19 years with me. I carried the discipline, the project management, the planning, the systems thinking, the ability to organize chaos. the habit of asking questions, too many questions. And yeah, thankfully there's chat GPT now to answer so many of my questions. And yeah, that is for another time, I think. And the tendency to create spreadsheets for things that probably did not require spreadsheets. The last one was definitely coming with me. I had always been someone who organized information. I keep notes, I created trackers, I documented family memories, I built templates, I made lists, I took photographs, I wrote blog posts, I created books. I released my second book this February, and it's about love. The first one was, if you remember, was in August 2021, the day I turned 35. So I released my first book, and it was about life. But this year, it was also in my timeline to release another book, but this time I released it in February. And now thinking about it, I that was a very, very good move, because August is definitely not a time to write another book. Of course, thank you, Lord, for that. And I save things because somehow, somewhere in my brain, there was always a little voice saying, Kiring, you might want to remember this. Aw. And then I entered DPE, and suddenly that part of me made sense in a completely different way. One of our assignments asked us to reflect on a learning principle about helping students organize their knowledge. I chose it almost instinctively. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that organizing information was not simply something I liked doing. It was how I made sense of life. I organize because it helps me understand. I document because it helps me remember. I reflect because it helps me connect one experience to another. And maybe that is also why I have always written. I have been blogging since 2008, but I have been a writer since my elementary years, when my mama Sipin gave me a diary. And connecting it to the age that Onyara is now, I remember, I would always, there are times that she would always talk to me about a lot of things. And I remembered, some bits of information about, maybe that's why Mama Sipin gave me a diary, so that I could write in the diary instead of instead of bothering her with the talk. But I started training Onyara to what do you call this, to narrate, but she's not into writing yet, but that's the next step. Okay, because writing, I think, for me, was the window to everything. People read and I write. And I think that's oh, sorry for that. I think that's a very long time to be putting pieces of your life on the internet, right? So back to blogging in 2008. But way before blogging, I have always been writing. And I think some of my high school friends and some of my college friends could attest to that. I actually have a notebook where I've written romance. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I've written through different careers, different homes, different versions of myself: motherhood, travel, faith, uncertainty, joy, disappointment, and all the ordinary things in between. I sometimes wonder what the younger Kring would think if she could see me now. She would probably be surprised by a lot of things. She might be surprised that I became a mother, of course, because I didn't want to be one. That's another longer story. But yeah, I don't know. She might be surprised that I left the corporate world, of course, because I was very workaholic and I tie my identity to my productiveness and I to my usefulness. Okay? So being in a corporate world is my identity. And then she might be surprised that I went back to school because I've thought about it and I was like, oh no, I don't want to go back to school anymore because my brain is for work and I don't think I can be that smart again to go back to school. And yeah, that could be another story again. And then she might be surprised that I was seriously considering teaching because I've always want to share, but teaching is in a different level. And I realize it now that I'm actually studying to be a teacher. I I realize that the more I know, the less I know. Like, oh my God, whenever my teachers are discussing things, especially with our teacher in DP 103, I would always like, she just sharing her experiences, and I love how she actually teach us things not by the book but by experiences, because for me that's how I learned, like when I can connect this learning to actual experiences and I could remember it. Okay, like today we did Magna Carta, and it was just Magna Carta, but what I did is I opened so many tabs, and now I'm wondering if there are list of websites that the government is actually what do you call this, actually curating, so that I when I want to know all the government plans about teaching and all that, or the deep ed policies and all, and I could look. And right now I'm already opened. I've seen the um my God, rtvm.gov.ph, the egov.ph, deped.gov.ph, region7.deped.gov.ph, legacy.ched.gov.ph. Okay. And I've seen the DepEd memorandums and all that. I haven't really deep dive into them, but yeah, that's how I am with learning, and that's why I really like it, and I don't know. Yeah, but you get a point, right? And of course, um, she might be surprised that I was approaching 40 and still trying new things. Because to be honest, I thought 40 when I was young was like very, very old already. I know I'm old and I try to feel that I'm old, and but the only thing that's telling me that I'm old is my eternal backache, and which reminds me to stand up now. My eternal backache and some of the joints are now achy. But yeah, I'm trying things to be just to keep my health. Okay? But I think she would recognize one thing immediately. I was still writing. That part never really left. June was full of those little reminders that I was still a learner. There was the collage assignment that I thought would be easy until I started thinking about it too much. There was the self evaluation that somehow became a full report card and took nearly 5 hours because apparently I cannot simply answer a question when I can create an entire system around it. That makes it so annoying and very cringy. I was asked a single question and I answered 10 questions when I answered that just one question. And I think that's one of the things that I need to learn, how to simply deliver one lesson in 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm still learning how to do that. But all those things, I call it, that is very cringy. I'm always cringing it. Give me a simple assignment and I will probably find a way to make it a project. But I also realized that the hours I spent on that self evaluation were not really about design. They were about thinking: who am I? What am I good at? What still needs work? What kind of teacher do I want to become? What kind of person am I becoming? My final score was 4.36 out of 5. Very satisfactory. I remember that because it was funny to me that I was giving myself a grade at this stage of my life. Yeah, of course. But maybe we're always doing that anyway. I am always doing that. I am constantly evaluating myself. Am I doing enough? Am I doing well? Am I where I should be? Am I behind? Am I becoming the person I thought I would become? But there's a but. I am always evaluating myself with my previous self or a version of myself in the future. I don't compare myself with others. I always I make it my mantra that to remember that I am on my own lane and other people is on their own lane. We may have the same age, we may have all the characters or all the qualifications like IT and all that, but our own journey is entirely our own. We are not in competition with others. And I always tend to, make it a mantra because growing up, I would always compare myself to others. It is very hard to mentally shift to this person that I am now. And of course, I would always remember to ask this question: am I becoming the person I thought I would become? Or am I becoming the person that God wanted me to be? It is very hard. But the difference now is that I'm learning not to let anything define me, not to let the score define me, not to let my job define me, even my parenting define me. The only thing that matters to me is how God wanted me to be. So, 436 score does not mean I am 87.2% of a good teacher. It simply means I can recognize some strengths while still knowing there is room to grow. And that became one of the themes of this entire season. There is a room to grow at 39 because remember today is August 26th and I still have 4 days to go before 40. And that is why I am recording this to frame my state of mind 4 days before 40. There is room to grow after 19 years in one career. There is room to grow after becoming a wife and mother. There is room to grow even when you already have a long list of accomplishments. And, of course, this is important: failures. Okay? Maybe especially when it's not a then, it's a when. Because sometimes the hardest thing about growing older is accepting that you are still allowed to be a beginner. Okay? I was, I am, and I think forever I will always be. Because the more I learn, the more I realize that I don't actually know something. And that's why when I look back at my very, very proud, very, 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 very thinking that she is smart, younger me, oh my gosh, I would feel cringe. That's is that how it is? Cringy. Cringy. Oh my god. Cringy cring. Oh. And I think that's what you get for growing old. Like you and that's why it's very important to me that I've written a lot because I can just look back at that cringy, cringy self. And of course, my girls, Onyara, now turning 8, and then Anyana is 3 years old. The girls, of course, were also learning around me. And of course, I'm modeling them. I'm modeling it to them. Okay? And that was one of my favorite things about this season. I was learning together with the girls. And maybe I will not, I don't know. I don't really know if I become a teacher after this season. I don't know. God only knows about that part. But for me, I have already, what do you call this? This is already a accomplishment for me. Just starting is already, and the things that I've learned is actually applicable to how I'm parenting my children and to how I am supporting them in school. And I actually love this season. I was studying at home and they were studying too. Different lessons, different classroom, different stages. But somehow, we were all learning at the same time. There is something beautiful about that. I did not need to disappear from motherhood to become a student. I could be both. I could be a lot of things. And that's a very awesome realization. That's a very awesome stage to be when you are turning 40. I could be their mommy and still be a learner. I could help Onyara with her school things while working on my own. I could watch Anyana grow into her own little school routine while trying to understand something about pedagogy. I could be preparing a lesson plan while also thinking about dinner. It was messy. It was something, you know, messy and sometimes exhausting, but it was real. And I think I needed that. For so long, I had imagined that big changes required clean beginnings. A new job would begin after the old one ended. A new routine would begin after everything was organized. A new chapter would begin once the previous one was completely finished. But life does not actually cooperate like that. Sometimes the new chapter begins while the old one is still being processed. Sometimes you're still figuring out what you left behind while already learning where you are going. Sometimes you are sitting in the same house where you have always lived, doing something completely new. That was my June. Then came July. Of course, I love July. I love July the month, and of course, July my husband. And July is like our, for me, it's our family's new year. Because, it's the second half of the year, and it's our family name, Julio. It's the name of my husband, and it's the birthday of our youngest, Anyana. And I love how our um, birthdays starts in July, and then Anyana July, August is mine, September is my husband, then October is Onyara. And then November we breathe a little, and then December it's Christmas. So actually the second half of the year is very, very kapoy. But I don't feel kapoy. It's only kapoy is kapoy means you can be tired, but you can come back and bangon. Bangon dira kring. Okay? For your purpose, of course. And July was when the romantic idea of becoming a teacher met the reality of actually studying to become one. Because of course, when July started, na naman ko'y 4 weekends, of course. And I was like, July is halfway there. There were assignments, lots of them. There were exams, there were lesson plans, especially our midterms, July 11, 7/11, of course. There were presentations, lesson plans, and there were curriculum guides and competencies and assessments and teaching approaches and 21st century skills and new literacy. So many things. There were moments when I felt like I had 5 things left to do, and all 5 were somehow due yesterday. There were also moments when I was genuinely proud of myself, not because I was getting perfect scores, not because everything was easy, but because I was caps lock showing up. I was doing something unfamiliar. I was allowing myself to be taught. That was a very different experiences from the professional life I had known. At work, people often came to me because I already knew something. In school, I was there because I did not. And I like that more than I expected. It reminded me of something important. I did not always need to be the most knowledgeable person in the room, and it humbled me so much. I am the oldest in my class, but I'm not the most knowledgeable person in the room. And it taught me of so many things, and I love how the fourth we used to be 16, two has withdrawn, and we're now 14, and we are a mixture of different people. And so I hope that before or maybe after a few days after our finals, I could share to them share them one by one for my memory, because the 14 of them actually touches my heart differently. And I actually love the um relationship, the what do you call this, the relationship that we have now. And to tell you, it's very different from how I used to operate with people, and I like the change. And I didn't think I could actually do it, like just to before. I'm consistent with everything. Like I don't I don't consider your work friend your when I say you're my friend, you're a friend to me in all the entirety of it. But right now, I can actually say that my classmates in DPE is just my classmates in DPE. They're my friends, but they are my school friends. And that is something very new, right? And maybe some of you didn't know that because you've been listening, or you've just been hearing this for the first time. But for those who know about how I operate in friendships, you would think that that's not very clean to just have friends and leave it at that. Schoolmates, leave it at that. Okay, because going back, I do not always need to be the most knowledgeable person in the room, and I don't always need to be friends with everybody in the room before I can work with them. Sometimes I can simply just, you know, be the person learning. Sometimes I can just be the classmate. I can listen, I can ask, I can get it wrong. And there's so many things. I can sit with something confusing until it finally makes sense, and compared to who I was before, it's okay. It is very okay to not know. It's so, freeing. It's so freeing to not have all the answers. And sometimes I can look up a word because I have been reading it for days but still did not know how to pronounce it. Pedagogical, pedagogy, and there are others. But pedagogical and pedagogy was that. Of course, that happened to me. I was learning new words at 29. So many new words, new people that I can't even remember now. Vygotsky. Oh. That made me laugh. It also made me happy, right? Because there is something wonderful about realizing that there are still things you do not know. And the more you know, the less you know. There are still things that can surprise you. There's still things you can become curious about. Very, very. I'm very curious about everything. About, like, for me, education is like I want to know more. I want to know more. I want to know more. And yeah, there is still a whole lot of life left to learn. The teaching demo made that even clearer, of course. It's so hard when you're given 3 minutes. I had 3 minutes to motivate guys, 3 minutes, and then another 3 minutes or five to discuss, and then application. Oh my gosh. It sounded very easy until you actually try to do it. I thought 3 minutes is long, but 3 minutes is actually nothing. It forced me to decide what mattered. I could not say everything I knew. I had to think about the learner. What do they need? What can they understand? What can they actually do with the lesson? But of course, what I am teaching here when we're doing teaching demo is not actually the learner, mind you. They are my classmates. But even that is hard. How much more when it's the actual learner? That's why I'm very excited for the next step. I'm going to practice teaching, and I'm praying where God will lead me next. Okay? And that was when, teaching began to feel less like a new career and more like a continuation of something I have been doing in different forms for years. In IT, I often had to help people understand complicated things, especially when I become a transition manager. Oh my God, that's a different, um, what do you call this, experiences as well. Oh, which makes me, I have to do a talk again about the different roles that I have been in 19 years because I have been blessed with so many. Okay. In projects, I had to bring different people toward the same goal. As a blogger, I have always tried to make ideas relatable. And as a mother, I constantly explain things in simpler ways. Of course, I always make sure it is translatable or can be understood by my 3-year old and my 7-year old. Now I was learning how to do all that intentionally as a teacher. Maybe that was why the career shift did not feel as foreign as it once did. I was not becoming someone completely different. I was connecting different versions of myself. That became even more important as I started thinking seriously about the grade 7 ICT teaching playbook. Of course, imagine that nag-eskwela pa ko karon but naghinahuna na ko kung ma-deploy ko nya mag-teach ko ICT unsa ang playbook na ko ani naghunahuna na ko kaning tanan because the um, budget of work is already there, the competencies are already there, buhatan na lang na akong lesson plan daan, tanan, niya ako siyang kuan, para ready na siya to a point na tanan, sa ba ni, na ay lesson plan, astang mga um, presentation and all that, as, grabe, nagunahon na lang ko na, if mauna gali ni, mauna na akong playbook, then tanawon lang din ako. Pero mapapasok Napa ko na ko yung outline ani and I actually even nagbuhat pa yung Google operating system. So, ako na yun but wala pa. Oh my God, Kring. Anyway, of course, because I wanted to create something practical and that could help me, right? Something for career shifters, something for beginning teachers because I'm a beginning teacher. And if I help myself, I could help others. Something that would say, okay, here is the curriculum. Here is what you need to understand. Here is what you can actually do with it. Here is how you can plan. Here is how you can assess. And here is how you can make learning meaningful. Actually, mauna ang akong eskwelahan karon, but I want it to be in a book. Kay, para kung naay kay pagsulod magud nako ani nangit katong the idea ang nag-share man gid ako ning idea kay kuan naman to'y usa ka katong padung nako mo resign katong nag-announce ako mag-resign. I talked to kanang somebody in my kanang colleague man and he's the one who said, "Oh, na may kuan didto kanang DPE something something." And that got me thinking. And then of course, inspired by kay ko sa akong brother who's very generous and all. So, meron ko bitaw no. So, ayan ka na ako. But wala pa gid to na final until pag gid ko naka-decide na mo resign di ay pagkuan pag December pag January na ba ako pagbalik na ba ako nako nga ni resign ko di ba. So, medyo kuan gid siya. Kana and parang nagdangog pangutana and I don't want to go into something nga wa ko kabaw. So, and honestly, wala gyud kay ko'y nakakabasahan bitaw na mao ni ang expectation and all that. But thankfully, ni salig ra gyud ko sa akong brother na ana ra gyud siya. Ti, kaya ra gyud na nimo eh. Ikaw pa. Of course. Mo tuo yun ko sa ako ang manghod. Jesus kadaghan baya niya og kuan niya. Ingnan pa ka na, ti ay kabala ka. Ako ray bayad. Of course, si ate. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, going back, of course. I wanted it to reflect the things I was learning in DPE, right? Wa man ko'y nakitaan. And because I'm here, I wanted could, to do something to, what sa man ay kanang document. And ganahan sad ko nga dili sad mawala ang akong 19 years. Sus, grabe no. Daghan na gyud kay kog experience na. Nagunahon na jud ko nga, uy, nag-unsa ra man day ko. Nag-unsa ra man ka sa akong life, girl. Ipong sulat na, girl. So, eventually, I have a life book, um, love book, and hopefully, I can do a dili siya profession book. Nagunahon na pa ko unsa. But anyways, unsa may sulod ka ha? Of course, na dip in curriculum. Pero, nagunahon na pa ko, ano kung basin kailangan ko og kanang kuan magpaano gyud kung pwede ba siya in a book. Pero personal raman, tanaw lang sa nako. Basta everything that kanang akong na-learn, PPST, 21st century skills, learning by doing, assessment for learning, classroom management, table of specifications nga kapoy jud ko aning grabe ang pinakalisdan gyud nako na subject no was assessment gyud ay wala pagali mi kaayo classroom management akani ako pa ni siyang i-learn on my own. And then, of course, reflection, then professional growth, practical things, and real things. Daghan gyud kayo. The kind of things I would have wanted when I was starting. And I realized that this is one of the things I want to do more in my next decade. take what I have learned and make it useful to my future self as a look back na, oy, inani mang gibuhat kring, and maybe to someone else. And maybe, of course, that is what maturity is supposed to do. Not simply collect experiences, but turn them into something that can help someone. July also taught me to think more carefully, the month of July, and also my husband, July. Si, ako man yun ng bouncing, di na sa kung ka relationship kita, tas na kanya akong chika, but July the month, and my husband, July. Not just academically, personally. So, by the month of July, I started doing brain exercises and logic questions, testing myself with IQ style questions, and eventually wondering about EQ, SQ, and all other Qs. Of course, kay kuan man sad, na-discuss man sa tiyag balik sa akong maisa na excite kong balik. Okay? It was fun and very humbling. There were questions where I thought I had the answer and then I realized I had misunderstood. There were questions where I rushed. There were questions where I had the answer but overthought myself right out of it. There were also questions where I surprised myself. The point was never really the score. I wanted to understand how I think. What happens when I am under pressure? Do I rush? Do I second guess? Do I give up? Do I keep trying? Do I learn from a mistake? That become another that became another little training ground for 40, because maybe growing older is not simply about becoming wiser. Maybe it is about becoming more aware. And if you ask my husband, July, mao gyud ni iyang ganahan na ma-improve nako ang akong awareness. And yeah, that is what I will be bringing into 40. Awareness. Awareness of my patterns, my strengths, my weaknesses, what drains me, what gives me life, and what things I want to keep, and what things I want to let go, especially people. It's very hard. And of course, August, naabot na gid ta sa akong August, akong birth month, August. The idea was in August kay magplano na sa dun ta ako mag-deactivate. I want to deactivate, but I did not delete my entire connection to the world. I keep my messenger because naman didto kuan baya na didto nga ako ang GC sa akong classmate, GC, parent GC, and kana na lang actually. And I think Facebook Messenger is still the things na kuan ko sa ni makontak ko. But I don't know, akong thinking yun na kasi una pa man yun ko ganahan na yun ko mo kuan mo be away sa Facebook. Tanawon lang yun na siya if I can do it. But the messenger is there because of course I still wanted to talk to people. And but because it's my birthday and I want to go kuan, basin maglagot niya akong future self. So, of course, ang ako is nag-countdown automatic by when was that last week man siguro to gi I scheduled my post until my birthday, and then wa pa ko kabaw kung ano sa ako mobalik, wa pa jud ako ginag-check gyud, and I like it actually. Messenger na lang gid akong gi-open na times na kanang siguro naabot tayo na naman yung memory mong kamot na makapal ko ma-open kaya one day ko, but wala gyud. I just did not want to live inside the feed anymore. Although dili man gyud ko mag-scroll, but bisan kanang atap lang gud kay napayap sa koy kanang kuan usahay, kanang mabitag na kay mga urge or drive ba. So kana mo nang naningho gyud ko nga dili. So Yeah, and I surprisingly loved it. I loved the quiet, not knowing things, not having to, check up on people and, just kung naay ma-mention, wala ra mo, agi ra. And not wondering whether I should post something and not seeing everyone's life there. Although that's their feed, usahay mong gud magka-judge man gyud ka. Sorry kayo Lord. So mo na magpalayo na lang gyud ko sa temptation, girl. Focus na lang yun ta. And most of all, moments that did not immediately become content. That was a bigger realization than I expected. I have spent years documenting my life. I still want to, and I still do. And the same focus naman yun over the years. I document my life for a future version of me and not for an audience. But there is a difference yun. Now I can take a photograph without needing everyone to see it. I can write something because future me might want to read it. I can save a memory because it matters to me. And I can have a beautiful day that belongs only to my family. I can experience something meaningful without announcing it. That is a very different relationship with documentation. Naana na siya before, but right now, cemented na yun siya. And maybe that is the relationship I want to have for the rest of my life. I want to document and continuously document for my future self. I want the photograph, I want the stories, I want the books, I want the blog post, the little records of ordinary days. But I want to remember that they are for remembering. Murag sa kuan ba? Sa sige ay blooms, remembering siya. Not proving, not performing, not seeking approval, remembering. Because I know myself, because what matters is only God's approval. I know that someday I will miss this. I will miss the girls at these ages. I will miss that our house sounded like this. I will miss the school routines, night times. Kay kapuyan naman sad ko usahay magsigi ano. And I miss the little things I am currently too busy to appreciate. I will miss being the mommy of two little girls who still need me in very specific ways. I will miss this version of our family. I will miss this version of myself, the woman who was almost 40, the woman who had already lived several lives, the woman who was still trying new things, who had no idea exactly where the next career chapter would lead. The me who could still get excited about a new notebook. Oh my gosh, new notebook, journal, unsa pa na diya, mga color pens, and but of course, the me who could spend 5 hours on self-evaluation. And of course, who could get stuck on a logic question and refuse to let it go, let it go. And the woman who was still learning. I want future me to remember her. That is why the mantra came. My life doesn't need an audience to be meaningful. I document it so my future self can remember how it felt to live it, to be present, to show up, to be fully in person with all of it. That is probably one of the biggest changes I am carrying into 40. I no longer need to be seen to feel that my life counts. I've always targeted it, but now at 40, that's already cemented. And that is why I started thinking differently about my birthday itself because last year nag-think you go 40 kay wala man ko ka debut magdebut unta ko karon. And maybe because wala sad ko'y sweldo or maybe there are things jud na things are happening for a reason and I like it na I will be 40 and it's a normal birthday. It's a normal birthday and celebration, but it's a very big change in me mentally. So instead of spending so much for it, I write about it, planned and countdown, and created posts about my birthday. And I thought about what 40 means. But the closer I got, the more I realized I did not want to celebrate 40 simply by throwing a bigger version of the same celebration I'd always had. I wanted it to feel different, not necessarily bigger, different, more intentional, more personal, more meaningful. I wanted the celebration to reflect the woman I am becoming, not just the number I am turning. I did not want 40 to be about proving that I had arrived. I wanted it to be acknowledging that I had lived 40 years of being someone's daughter, 40 years of becoming myself, years of school, work, friendship, love, marriage, motherhood, faith, mistakes, failures, dreams, losses, wins, changes, beginnings, endings, and so many ordinary days. I wanted to celebrate all that. Wanted to celebrate the journey instead of just a milestone. I wanted to celebrate, but quietly enough that I could actually feel it. That become that became and that will always be important to me because there is something about turning 40 that makes you think differently about time. At 20, 40 feels far away. At 30, 40 feels like something you can still prepare for. At 39, 40 is basically standing outside your door, and I'm not afraid of it. Each year of my life is a proof that I am a gift, that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and I have a purpose, that I am on this earth for a purpose. And suddenly, I understand that the next decade is not some distant future. It is the decade that my children will grow even more. Is that it is the decade that my career or my next career will take another shape. It is the decade where my girls will become teenagers. Oh my god. It is a decade where I'll probably experience versions of motherhood I cannot yet imagine. It is a decade where will have to make decisions about health, work, family, money, faith, relationships, and purpose. It is a decade where I will become and be nearing 50. Golden era! Of course, that's me, right? I'm still going into 40 and now I'm pushing into 50. That sounds wild because it is. Nowadays, ang tanan paspas na gid kaayo. But instead of being afraid of it, I embrace it. I plan for it. And I live days, I make the days meaningful and being present for it intentionally. I want my 40s to be less about proving myself and more about knowing myself. I want to become more grounded, more intentional, more present. I want to learn how to say no without writing a three-paragraph explanation. This sujud kay for me to say no because I have always been a yes girl. So if I said no, grabe. It's very ano na gina siya, very humbling and it's a learning experience for me. And I want to stop carrying things simply because I am capable of carrying them. I want to have boundaries. Dili na ko manghilabot. Maura ni imong buhaton, kung dili ka suguon, ayaw na. Pag apil-apil, ayaw na kasobra og initiative. Krisya, kay grabe ang stress ni my girl. And I want to choose what deserves my energy. I want to spend more time offline. I want to be more present with my family. Kulang pag yun siya, no? Bisag present na gid gali kayo ko. I want to keep writing. I want to keep creating, learning, and I want to keep teaching. Whether it will be in school, but asa ko dadon ni Lord. I want to build things that are useful. I want to make memories that I will actually remember because I was present when they happened. I want to travel with my family. I want to keep taking photographs. I want to make books, more books. I want to leave something meaningful behind for my girls. I want to continue growing in my faith. I want to trust God more and worry less. To be humble enough to change my mind and not be guilty about it. To be brave enough to begin again. To be disciplined enough to finish what matters and to know the priorities. I want to have fun. Of course, that one is important too. I have spent enough years being responsible. I want the next decade to have more, not really less responsible, but to have more laughter in it. More spontaneous days, more days na wala, na dili na ko ma-stress kung halong anong wala mo ko'y picture ani. Mao gyud na akong thinking. The more na walay ko ang sulod ang ako ang pictures, it means na the more I am experiencing life. More family adventures stored in my memory nga dili ko ma-guilty. And of course, more stories, more learning just because I am curious, more doing things because I enjoy them, not because they look impressive. I want to be the kind of 40-year-old who still gets excited about new ideas. I want to be the kind of 50-year-old who is still learning. I do not want to age into a smaller version of myself. I want to become a deeper one. There's also something else I want my 40s to teach me. I want to learn the difference between being busy and being fruitful. I know how to be busy. I am actually very good at it. Give me enough responsibilities and I will organize them. Give me enough tasks and I will create a tracker so tanan makaya ra gyud na girl. Give me enough projects and I will probably make a spreadsheet. But I am learning that a full calendar does not automatically mean a full life. I want to ask better questions now. Does this matter? Does this bring me closer to the person I want to become? Does this serve my family? And most importantly, does this honor God? Does I will pray about it. It's very ano no kay murag the first 40 years of my life is more about giving. And dili man jud ka mag-ask what's in it for me. But doing these things, it's not actually saying what's in it for me, but it's actually asking what's in it for me so that I could decide whether this should be the things that I'm picking up on, or has God been leading me to something that's more meaningful and more aligned with what He has for me, right? I want my 40s to be a decade of building the purpose of what God wants me to be. Of course, even at 40, bleak pagid kay na siya. Wa pagid ko kabaw kung unsa gyud. And I think that's what's making me excited. Sa una kay very ano na gyud ko. I even have a timeline gyud. Naagi ko yung timeline until 100-year old. Grabe. Balikan niya to na ako, patanawon niya to na ako. But right now, that was scratch. Because right now, ako na lang yun, ampuan ta ni Lord, unsaon man yun din nato. Of course, there are so many ones nakakuan mo, ako yun ang gibutang tanan, mga ones, no? But all those ones, once lang na siya. Si Lord ragyud ang mag-guide sa akong life from here on until He wants me to be home. I can want things. I can build a body of work, build memories, build relationship, build faith, build confidence in my girls, and build everything. But at the end of the day, ang ako lang yun no is I want my this- I want the next decade of my life to be all about obedience to the one who created me. Para dili na kay ko ma-stress. Ampuan na nato tanan. Lord, this is from you. Will this be my next step? Asa man taan ni Lord? Kaya pa ba? Purpose, obedience, and leave things a little bit better than when I found them. And I think I'm finally ready for it. My life verse has also become more meaningful as I approach this birthday, my 40th birthday. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Kana lang yun na kailakon manantay. I wanna listen to back to this talk or podcast or whatever this is in another decade and look back at how grateful I am and how things have unfolded in my 30 until my 40s. But I want my future self to be reminded that I'm only able to carry on because I have God. I'm saved, and I fear nothing because I know that God loves me. That my value is not tied to what I have achieved, but because I am a child of God. And all the things that I have done is not because I want to earn His love. I have His love already. I'm doing because I love Him. I'm doing things because I love Him. Because I have a relationship with God, the relationship with Jesus. And that's probably the biggest and most profound purpose that I will have to work on as I enter 40. To be bold in my faith, to to share that only I'm here because God is with me. He was with me when I was young, and all I have, and that is a product of prayer, not by my own doing, product of prayer from my mama, from my lola, and also most importantly because in the book of God, I was God's. So wala man gyud kayo mabuhat eh. Kung andyan ka. You can only do so much but si Lord ra gyud na. And pray, of course prayers work yun, but kung ano ra gyud na siya. Si Lord ra gyud na. And mausad na I could really talk a lot of things but maglisod jud kog translate bitaw sa kanang how profoundly awesome it is to be with the Lord, to have this blind faith ba, and kana mo gina akong paninguhaon into my 40s how I can translate that faith. Yung taas-taas na gini akong chika, but yeah, so mauna lang to no until the next, so balikan na ako. I don't need an audience to be meaningful. I will document it so my future self can remember how it felt to live it. Then I will put the phone down and live it. And that's it. Welcome to my 40s. Bye bye.